AI in an efficient way. So I will show you mostly two tools you can use in a very new way, efficient, fun, hopefully too. And then we're going to talk about phubbing again, and especially today about phubbing and schools, phubbing and teaching. Okay. Yes. So I will share the screen, and we are going to start with talking about a feature you probably don't know, which is Gemini Storybook. Okay. So I will show you how to use Gemini Storybook. Maybe you don't know, but you can create a book from scratch. Yeah. As you can see, this is the page of Gemini Storybook. Okay. To find this page, yeah, true. Of course, you can. Of course. So we also have a screen here in the classroom for those joining. So to find Gemini Storybook, you just select on Google Gemini Storybook, and it opens up the page like this. You don't really need an account for this. So I will show you what you can do, and then we can discuss all together about all the possibilities you can use Gemini Storybook for. Okay, maybe to make some not very fun material, fun to read and to study. So you click on Start Your Story. Yes. So this is the storybook. It's very easy. You just prompt. We haven't discussed until now, but prompting is essential when using AI. This is something where students struggle a lot because, of course, this is something you were born into as students and you are not instructed on how to create a good prompt. So basic rules for prompting are you have to be clear, okay? You give instructions like teachers for students. So you have to give some context as much as you can. Also, it is important to give the length of what you need. For example, as a teacher, if you want to create a lesson plan, you have to specify, I need a lesson plan for 45 minutes or 60 minutes. If you want to write a text, you cannot just say, write a text, because AI systems, either you use ChatGPT, Gemini, it doesn't matter. They don't know what kind of text, how long. So 10 pages, 5 pages, 1,000 words, depending. So length is very important. Be aware that AI struggles with length. This is something where AI is not very precise. Maybe you have also experienced that. You ask for a text of, I don't know, 1,000 characters and you get one of 800. Why is that? AI doesn't think with words, but with tokens. It's another unity. So that's why it's not always very precise. Yeah, but try to specify the length anyways. Context, length, you have to be very clear, and you have to have very clear in mind what you need. Okay, so these are some basic rules about prompting. Better to write more than less when prompting. Okay, let's try now with Storybook. What is Storybook? It is a Gemini feature where you can create a book from scratch. Can you imagine? You can become an author from scratch. What do we want to write a book about? Okay, you see, I have a little kid at home, so I write a lot of books about pirates at the moment, or dinosaurs. But you can write a book about anything you like. So what do we want to create a book about? Okay. I want a book. And we don't need to say please and thank you to AI systems. Let's remember that. So I want a book about, what do you want? We can say,
traveling in Berlin.
Nice, traveling in Berlin, okay. Some context, target group, teenagers. Yeah, teenagers visiting Berlin for the first time, okay. 10 pages, let's say, yeah. Teenagers, not teenagers. Well, you can also make spelling mistakes with AI. They don't care, but still. Okay. I want a book about traveling in Berlin, target group teenagers visiting Berlin for the first time, 10 pages. I just click, I will submit, and in seconds, I will get a storybook with pictures. So this is why I'm showing you right now. I need seconds, minutes, and I will get a book, a storybook. Okay. Hopefully, internet is not that slow. Okay. And you can create books from scratch about anything. Fun part would be that you will see on the cover my name as the author. Okay. But I did nothing in this case. I only prompted. This is something we should reflect about, right? So copyright in the AI era, how it is going to be. Of course, it is very slow, but still, how it is going to be in the future about copyright. Who is the real author? Yes, if you want to say something, you can always write in the chat. Take some time, but still, perfect. This is where we are. So this is what I got. With only prompting, right? So title, that's a book, a cover. The Concrete Pulse, a Berlin Diary by Ada Rigacci. You see my name? What I did nothing. Very efficient, I would say. Yeah, now I'm an author. I can read the book. What was that? Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, this is the book. Okay, nice text. Right pictures of the glass roof of the Berlin Hauptbahnhof, ash over them like a giant transparent whale. Okay. I would say Hauptbahnhof is bigger than that, but still. Okay. This should be Brandenburger Gate. Okay. It's stall and stoic. My sun and winters through centuries of change. Okay. The East Side Gallery. Okay. Senseturm. Okay. They're also trying currywurst. Okay. So pretty nice. Okay. The Holocaust Memorial. Museum Island. Very nice. And if I want, I can also ask to listen to the story.
In the narrow alleys of Kreuzberg, the vibe shifted to something raw and electric. Nova ducked into a basement vintage shop filled with the scent of old leather and incense. She pulled a neon green tracksuit jacket from a crowded rack, holding it up to herself in a cracked mirror, captivated by the city's effortless sense of style. As evening fell, they found a spot on the grassy banks of the Spree River. The Oberbaum Bridge glowed in the distance, its red brick towers reflecting in the dark water.
So, you have seen what I've done. Almost nothing. I just prompted, and in the end, I got a book with my name on it. And you can do it with anything, any topic you can think of. Yeah, maybe some dry topic. You want to study something in history. You want to learn something about a museum, a city. You create a storybook, and you ask them to read aloud for you. So imagine, as you have seen in seconds, I would say we could create that. So let's see. Very nice. So yes, please.
You can ask
Mhm.
which level English.
Of course. Perfect. Yes, of course. You can also select the level of English. Let's say you can also ask to create a storybook with some words. Okay, let's try. I'm getting a perfect idea. Okay. I want a book. What level of English do we want? B2? A book in English for B2. Yeah, B2 level. Learners. Topic. Maybe something interesting for you about VR, about energy, about whatever we like. So English for B2 level learners, about traveling, pirates, packing suitcases. I don't know. cases. Yeah. Learning all the vocabulary. Vocabulary connected to it. Or yeah, parking. Let's say. Yeah, or do we want something? Do we have something better in mind than parking cases? No. Something more difficult about, I don't know, airport. Checking airport language, let's say, about airport language. Okay, airport language. Okay, let's say, maybe useful for today. And you can do it, of course, we are always trying English. As you probably know, the better, the better material they have, the better results they can create. So they have a lot of material in English. In AI, there's a lot of material in English, and they create great results in English. But you can do it in any language. You can also create a storybook in Italian. I've tried with a group of teachers Greek, and it worked perfectly. So also in Greek, I tried Spanish, Portuguese with groups of teachers. I do these seminars with teachers as well, so that's why I tried several languages. Also, Catalan works very fine. And we can try now. Yeah. We're now going to have another book, and you can select any language, any level, any vocabulary. So it's very good to learn from a test, for example. This is an efficient way to use AI. Of course, the bad part of students and AI is that most of the times use AI as a shortcut, right? You do have the homework done. This is a nice way, an efficient way, an innovative way to use AI, because you use it and you study in a fun way. So let's see the terminal journey. Again, my name on it, because this is my account. And yeah, in the free account, you can create storybooks. Yeah, can you imagine? You can create a storybook for a friend, okay, as a surprise. I mean, I don't know. Yes, I know. I saved your next birthday party. For whatever, for a friend, for a family member, for your mother. Yeah. Let's see what we have. So that's the cover with my name on it. Terminal, and then again. Yes. Sliding doors, terminal, hall. You see, we learn a lot of vocabulary connected to airports. Rushing, frantic rushing, self-service kiosks. Yes. Today you're traveling and you will see in Berlin we have self-service kiosks for check-in. Yeah. Check your languages. So what else? Security checkpoint. Instead of having a dry list of words to learn, you see the vocabulary in use in a story. And if you are unsure about the pronunciation, you click on listen and you listen. Oh, we can try with French in any language. Let's see if it works. Yeah,
At the security checkpoint, the atmosphere grew more disciplined. Amelia took a deep breath as she reached the front of the queue. She grabbed 2 gray plastic trays from a tall stack, placing her laptop in one and her small bag of liquids in the other. She made sure her pockets were empty and her jacket was off, moving with the quiet efficiency of a seasoned traveler as she pushed the trays onto the conveyor belt. Once through the metal detectors.
Okay, so you see, you learn all the vocabulary in use, so metal detectors, and if you don't know, you can always check. Yeah, I would say that's a great invention, right? Yeah, for fun, for studying. Please try to use it in the next future. Always remembering, not just for fun. I know I did it just for fun for you, but it was to show you all the possibilities. Remember the energy AI uses all the time. Yeah, the water AI uses all the time, and the energy, electric energy. So yes, try out, use it, but with limits. Okay. So this is Gemini Storybook. Okay. If you have ideas about how to use it for school, you can write in the chat and we can read. Yes. Other ideas, for example, vocabulary was a great idea to surprise a friend. You can write a storybook. What you need is just a prompting. Yes, some ideas. Yeah.
like other
Yeah.
subjects. Understand the teachers do. The teachers
No, of course, but it's not to submit work. I'm not showing now ways to submit work to teachers. Well, I wouldn't do it in front of teachers, by the way, because now they recognize the style. No, it's not for submitting work. And actually, this is the whole idea of the webinar today. I'm not teaching you ways to cheat. You know exactly how to do that on your own. Plus, that's not the point. I mean, I truly believe that the point of school is learning, and in general, the point of life is learning, right? I believe, yeah, that's from my point of view. And I think that you could use this storybook for learning, not for cheating, not to submit something to the teacher, but let's say you have a written test about traveling, airports. You want to read again, revise all the material. The best way is not reading the list of words one again and again, because it's dry. Let's say, it's boring. So instead of that, you copy and paste the list of vocabulary to storybook and say, please create a storybook I can read. Also, you want to listen to the pronunciation once again, right, of the word. So you say, I have a test tomorrow in German, in French about traveling, airports, whatever, literature. I want to study for that, but without reading and learning, I don't feel like it. So what you can do, you go to Storybook, you ask to create a book, and you relax with your cup of tea or whatever, and they read a story for you. So it's not a way of cheating. No, I wouldn't do that in front of teachers, by the way. It's not a way of teaching, it's a way of learning, but in a fun way, I would say, right? So you have pictures, that's also helpful, right? When you're learning, that you have the visual part. Yeah, you have the visual part. So you look at the picture, you're like, okay, what could be the metal detectors? What could be displays of designer perfumes and oversized chocolate bars? Yeah, which is pretty much what you find in airports. You will see today, yes, oversized chocolate bars. I don't know why. I have no idea who buys oversized chocolate bars in the airports. I have no idea, but yes, this is exactly what you will find. This is pretty real. Okay, so you will see, of course, now your teachers know about storybooks, so you cannot submit a work anymore. But yes, I wouldn't say a student can create that in half an hour with all the pictures. Although if they don't know storybook, I mean, teachers are more clever than you think. They realize when something is created with AI. They don't need to check. They know it. Well, first of all, they know your level, your German level, French level, English level. They know you. They know who you are. They know how you work. So yeah, they would never buy that you have created a storybook like this. But you can use it on your own. That's the idea. You can use it on your own to make learning more engaging, more fun, I would say. I hope it's something you may use in the future. The memory, to help you with the memory. Yeah, to memorize, but not reading. Now, I have to say, I used to read a lot, read and memorize, but 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I know that's not a way you learn anymore. Yeah, you are a more hands-on generation. Yeah, you need to listen, you need to try things out, like the VR experience. We could spend 2 hours here explaining. The best part for you would be to set the VR glasses on and try. That's what your generation is. That's why I'm showing you stuff for you to practice in a hands-on way. Okay, not reading and learning. This is not the only way of learning, by the way. I think teachers don't care how you learn. They only care that you learn, right? So this is what I'm showing you with the storybook, right? A way to memorize things in a different way, in a more creative way. Okay, and maybe a way for teachers to create material, right? So in a click, you create material for students about something you are studying, and you can upload it for students who need it, right? Please check the pronunciation. So English works perfectly with the pronunciation. Also German. I'm not sure about French. You will have to check, because my French is not good enough to check that. The pronunciation is slightly towards English, as always. And when we're talking about AI English, it's always American English, right? Never British. Yeah. Yeah. Almost always, yes. English is almost, when we're talking about AI, as always, yeah.
Right. In English.
Yeah, they would do that. For the written part, yes. For the pronunciation, don't trust. Pronunciation will be 90% of the time towards American English. Yeah, because most of the resources they get are American resources. That's why, of course,
Much used.
much more use. Yeah, much more use. Yeah, especially now with AI, it will become much more and more used. I mean, all the systems we are looking at are, I mean, Germany are US based. Yes, there is a Chinese version, DeepSeek. Maybe you know it. We have been using that here at Europass for some time, but then lately the news came that DeepSeek said they were obliged to give all the information to the Chinese government. So we're like, okay, let's not use it again. Okay, that's why. But still, most of the resources are US based. Yeah. 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 All the research. Yeah. Everything we use, social media, everything we use is US based. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to show you one other very nice resource, which is Gemini Gem. Okay. Also, I don't think you have ever heard of it. I found it in a book. Yes. I also read books about AI. Yeah. For, to prepare the seminars. And I will show you, it's a great resource we can use. Yes. Gemini Gem. No, this one. It's super nice. Yes. I'm sharing the right part. Take some time. So it is a way for you to talk to anybody you want. You can create a fictional character to talk to online. So, first of all, big warning. I'm not telling you to spend hours and hours talking to an AI system instead of talking to a friend. And if you want to talk to a real person, please reach to a real person, right? This is mostly for me to show you how you talk to an historical person, your favorite writer. So I remember the first day we had somebody whose favorite book was Le Notti Bianche, Dostoevsky. You can talk to Dostoevsky and ask, why did you write this book? I have created in the past Alessandro Manzoni. Okay, I'm a big fan of Promessi Sposi. Maybe you are not. No, I'm old, not as old as Alessandro Manzoni, but still quite old. And I try. The funny part is that the gem you create speaks the same language of the historical person. So Alessandro Manzoni speaks really 19th century Italian. Super fun. And you can ask questions. Let's say tomorrow you have a test about Promessi Sposi. You study Promessi Sposi, right? You do.
Yes.
I've heard about that. No, I've heard about that. I was like, no way, no way. No way. It cannot. I know. But see, until then, please read Promessi Sposi. You have a test tomorrow about Promessi Sposi. Okay, you have options. You can read the text once more. You can check the notes of the teacher once more. Maybe you don't have them. Or you can create Gemini Gem and talk to Alessandro Manzoni and ask questions about that. You can ask questions about Promessi Sposi and have the real Alessandro Manzoni answer. Really. And you can do it with anything. You have a test in mathematics, right? Okay, you can create a mathematics teacher. And the mathematics teacher will explain to you anything you need again and again with all the patience in the world. So I'm not saying, please don't use it really for fun or to talk to somebody. For example, in the US, I've read some statistics. It is crazy. Like 45% of the users of Gemini Gem create their boyfriend or girlfriend. For real. That's real. Okay. So big warning. Don't use it to create the husband who always listens, who does the perfect grocery shopping. No, maybe I would buy that. No, I'm joking. So don't use it for that, really. Yeah, let's be aware of the risks of losing the connection with human beings. But to study could be a nice idea, right? To summarize something, to memorize new material. Yeah. So let's create somebody. So I have created some Gemini gems. I can show you the Gemini gems I have created. So for example, pirates again. Sorry, I have a little kid. So pirates. Pippi Langstrumpf. Pippi Calzelunghe. For example, yeah, why not? I asked Napoleon. Yes, very sorry. Napoleon, you can ask questions. For example, you have to study Napoleon for school. What about asking the real Napoleon about? Summarize your life. Tell me about your life. It's engaging. It's question and answer. Okay? You can ask also funny questions. I don't know. What did you have for breakfast? Napoleon. Okay. You don't have to repeat it in class, but still. And it may not be historical accurate, but for fun, you know? And then you ask also something nice. And I have to tell, I have tried several people, also writers I personally know very well, for example, Dino Campana, my favorite poet. And I have to say, information were super accurate. I have no idea how they manage that, because it is crazy. If you know how AI works, it's crazy to realize the accuracy they get, but still super nice, yeah. Or also Frankie McCourt, the author of Angela's Ashes. Also, I tried. The language is the same language he uses in the novels. Amazing. You can use this for German, for example. You want to talk to Goethe.
Can you show us the
New gem. I can show you. Yeah, we can now create one new. How do? You go to Gemini gem, so my gems, and you can click on new gem. Okay, and then you give gem a name. Again, it could be a fictional character, so you could say, I don't know, Maria, mathematics teacher, philosophy teacher, whatever, or it could be a real person. So let's do real person.
Jennifer Lopez?
Jennifer Lopez. Okay, why not? Jennifer, no, how do you say? Jennifer Lopez, like this. Okay, description. I know what you mean. I mean, you mean the singer, right? Tell me something about her. I'm not sure. Singer, singer and dancer, an actress. Ah, yes, true. Yeah. And if she's famous, you're like famous from where is she from? Uh-huh. Puerto Rican origin. I'm learning a lot. Puerto Rican origin. Yeah, American. US. Okay, Puerto Rican origin. Okay. Perfect. You can even add some files. Okay. And then you can save. You have to save the gem, in order to create. So what do you want to ask Jennifer Lopez? Start chat. So you're like save, and then you start the chat. So what do we want to ask Jennifer Lopez? I have no idea. Hi, Jennifer. I'm a big fan of yours. Huge fan of yours. You can even ask to check your English, right? Let's say, you can also say, when answering, check my English, make corrections, whatever. I'm just writing this, and then think what you want to ask her. So it's like, hi, thank you so much. I love my fans so much, and your support means the absolute world to me. Whether you've been rocking with me since on the 6th, watching the movies, dancing along to the music videos, I'm so happy to connect with you. How are you doing today? What's your favorite song or movie of mine? Okay, what's your favorite song or movie of hers? On the floor.
No, I'm just saying.
Whatever. Oh, no, also song or movie on the floor. Let's see if it's okay. It's true. Okay, it's true. You see? Let's get it. Oh, you just picked one of my absolute favorites to perform. Okay, so you already see the risks, right? You could spend easily one afternoon like that, like talking and imagining you're talking to a friend. You are not talking to a friend. Okay? Be aware. All the AI systems are designed for you to spend as much time as you can on them. That's why they're so nice. That's why they're like, you're always bright to them. You're always a genius to them. So be aware of that. But still it's fun. Still it's fun. So, and then they ask, are you a dancer yourself? Or you just love blasting it in the car and having your own private concert? Are you a dancer? No, not really a dancer. Okay, so this is an example. Yeah, this is for fun, of course. But you can use it to learn anything you like. You can talk to Stendhal. I don't know. And they can explain really the poetry behind a novel. Fun? Gemini Jam? Yes, and then it's done. And that's totally fine. You see, that's super nice. You don't need to be a professional dancer to feel the music. But you see, you learn a lot of English this way. Okay? Also, if it's only talking to Jennifer Lopez, it's very good, right? Very good practice. Okay. So Gemini Jam, you can use it for school purposes. Imagine, also tell me your ideas. How could you could use it for school? Because maybe I'm missing something. These are only my ideas. You can write in the chat. Yes. You can see, and you can talk to anybody. You can talk to an architect. You want to talk to Renzo Piano. What's your favorite plan, for example? Your favorite city in the world and why? Whatever. Yeah. What's like?
Sorry,
yes.
just
Yeah, that's right. Please.
we still miss one presentation.
Yes. We still, that's true. The 3D. No, I remember now. I remember. No, I remember. It's okay. No, I thought it was about that. No, it's okay. So a lot of ideas you can use it for. Yeah. And I told you, you didn't know about that. Nobody knows about, and everybody knows about Gemini and Nano Banana and Gemini, and you use Gemini for anything. But nobody knows about Gemini Jam and Gemini Storybook. I have no idea why. I keep on spreading the word because I think it's super fun and effective to have this. Okay. So having said that, so efficient use of technology. There are so many ways you can use technology for, which is not cheating, which is not getting the homework done. Okay. So a lot of ways you can use technology for, but last part of the webinar will be about warning you about phubbing at school, okay, and the risks of phubbing at school. Okay, so if you want to talk about anything, you can, but I will share the screen and talk to you about the risks of using the phone, phubbing, meaning ignore somebody by using the phone at school. There are risks not only for your teachers. Yes, we have seen, yes, way to use Gemini. So used to learn, not to cheat, of course. Yes, we have learned how to use the gem and also the storybooks, classroom, phubbing. So what is phubbing? You know that we have learned, we have worked on that in the past webinar. So ignoring somebody by watching the phone, by looking at the phone. And this is so common in families. Last webinar was about how we use it in families. And we said that it totally blocks every communication, every connection, right? So we should avoid that, although I know sometimes it happens. It still happens, but we should be aware of that and select times where we don't use the phone. And now we're going to talk about classroom phubbing. So briefly, some strategies, because also at school, I'm not sure, in some countries it is forbidden to have your smartphone with you at school, but still in some countries you can bring your smartphone with you and you phub. Okay, so you ignore classroom by looking at the phone. So yes, phubbing would be phone plus snubbing. So yes, phubbing is when you look at the phone instead of doing something else. And it could be in class. So instead of listening to your teacher and listening to the classroom work, whatever, participating, you look at your phone. It happens. It happened to you before, I'm sure. The consequences are negative, mostly for students. So we are going to see some consequences of phubbing at school. Of course, yes, you create, like in families, you create a wall between you and the rest of the world, also in class. Yeah. Yes.
In Italy, there are calendars
Yes.
when you put your phone
Yeah.
in the classroom.
In the classroom. Also in Germany, but not in every school in Italy. It depends. It depends. It depends. I suppose it depends. Like in Germany, we have the same. We have some plastic bags when you enter the classroom, and you put the plastic your smartphone in the plastic bags. Okay, but in general, it depends. It depends. It happens that in some schools in Italy you don't have it. So in theory, you can bring a smartphone with you. Yeah. So and people do that. So do you know on average how many times you look at your phone as a teenager? So they've done some research. They say that we check our phone 64 times per day on average. But some people, some students hit over 140 checks per day. And if you think about that, it's not a crazy number. Okay. And but we know what happens every time you check your phone, your brain has to restart focus. Because you lose focus when you do that. When you look at your phone, you focus on that. You're like, oh my God, did somebody call? Did something happen? No. And every time you look at your phone, you check your phone, you need to restart your brain. And yes, you miss something from class, for sure, or from the real world, whatever. Yeah. So of course, learning is much more difficult when you do so. Yeah, I mean, it's for you, for us, and also we are all part of this, right? We are all always too much focusing on our smartphone. So what happens? So when you do deep study, deep focus, let's say, you remember facts very well, and you finish homework really fast. When you deep focus, you know that you have this feeling, right? Also, we as adults, when you are fresh in the morning, we finish a task very easily, right? We feel quiet and we feel connected. When we check our brain, really, we need to restart the focus every time. And yes, we feel tired, right? There is the so-called dopamine effect. So every time we check the phone, we have a spark of dopamine, right? But then we have to restart everything from all over. And yes, a lot of times looking at the smartphone makes us feel isolated. Okay, isolated us from real world, right? So we have like focus mode and phone loop. So what do we do when we use the smartphone at school? Social apps. Almost 70% of the time we look at social apps. So whatever, Instagram, WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is also a distraction. I use it maybe too much because of course I live far away from my family, right? So and also when I'm here, I'm not with my son. So I'm always like kind of looking way too much on my phone because I'm kind of worried. If something may happen, I want to be aware, but I miss something from real world where I am. Then what do we do? 25%, 24% YouTube and videos, and also TikTok as part of it, clips. I mean, I'm not very attracted to TikTok. I'm too young, too old for this, but I guess you are. And TikTok's videos are really short. This has also an effect on your memory, on your capacity to focus. Because of course, how long are they? How long are TikTok videos? I don't know. 30 seconds? No, less. No, way less. Controllare, check for me. 10 seconds. And this has really an effect on how long we can focus, right? 10 seconds feel not like an eternity now. Yeah. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, probably, maybe less. And attention span is reducing. Also, same for us adults, right? Also, our attention span is reducing. And yes, only 6% of the screen time in class goes to schoolwork. So to check vocabulary, doubts, whatever, yeah, resources, only 6% of the screen time goes to, wow, schoolwork. So when a student is like, oh no, I'm checking something for school, this may be true 6% of the time, but you know that. I mean, teachers know that, I know. So TikTok time. And yes, how our brain works, right? Of course, we want to have fun updates, right? And memory storage is getting lower and lower. And yes, your brain is still developing until you are 24, your brain is still developing. So you have some more years to have fully develop your brain capacities, right? I know it is tough. It is for everyone. Everybody is kind of addicted. How long are TikTok videos? 24 minutes of TikTok. Today you have watched 24 minutes only of TikTok videos. Okay. Of TikTok only. Only TikTok videos, you see? I mean, it's now midday. It's now midday, yeah. And it's not 21 minutes. Yeah, it's average. You see, it's average. Yeah, it's something I don't really feel this, the interest to watch TikTok videos, although only in the pandemic, we had nothing to do. I discovered TikTok. I was like, oh, it's fun. But then, yes, of course, at the beginning, I don't feel the interest now. Well, I also lack the time. But yes, still interesting, right? Teenagers were pretty much the same. And it's 24 minutes. It's not an eternity. It's not you're losing your life, but still 24 minutes.
1 hour, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Of course. So, small game you can try. You can practice focus. You can say, now I'm doing 25 minutes focus. You set up an alarm. And you're like, I'm focusing for 25 minutes on anything, on homework, on a task, on I don't know, cleaning the dishwasher, whatever. 25 minutes without smartphone. You set up an alarm, and then you can have a reward. 5 minutes also, I don't know, phone check or something to eat, chocolate, whatever. Yes. And also create obstacles to reaching out to your phone. So put it somewhere you cannot use it every time, right? Also at home. This could be another way. So make it a game, create fun obstacles, some hacks you can use to use a smartphone, and some ideas. First of all, we need to track our screen time. Yeah, very good what you did now. So track screen time. How much time are we spending on our screen, on our smartphone, right? Track. Just 2 hours, 3 hours. Track means check, track, keep track, traccia, track. So track, how much time are you spending on, in general, like, I don't know, so TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, also like calling, telephones are made for calling, actual calling. How much time do we use for calling? Yeah. Depending, how much time you use for calling compared to screen time. So track, if you feel like, read your screen time and write it in the chat. If you want. Not much, come on, we're here, not much. Or yes. But average day, right? And you can also set up a block time, or I have now an alarm saying, sort of blocker I set up, I installed like sort of checking. So after 15 minutes on an app, they warn me, you have spent 15 minutes on the app. It could also be WhatsApp. I get a warning saying, you have spent 15 minutes on the app. Okay. And then I get a warning, and then after an hour it stops. So I also use it for work, so it happens. Yeah. So this is something you may try, right? And yes, something else. Remember to use, in general, AI technology in a creative way, right? So have creative ideas. Don't copy and paste. Okay, I know. I can understand. I do understand. I feel like we also use it too much for work. Sometimes I have the feeling I cannot write an email on my own anymore because, of course, I'm like, okay, I have an email. I'm like, okay, please change that and I will send it. But no, I'm like, no, please. I was able to write emails. I have to be able to write emails on my own, right? I know sometimes we are lazy. That's who we are, or we are in a rush. We're like, okay, maybe I do this and then I have 5 minutes to have coffee in peace. Okay. But please remember, don't lose your skills and also create your skills. Now you're students, you have to create your skills. Otherwise, imagine in 10 years from now, they can ask you any amount of money for ChatGPT premium access, and they will pay. Okay. Also, a friend of mine, very, very sad story. I was talking to him. I was like, oh, Claude great system. Claude is also very nice. App, maybe you know it. Claude is getting famous lately, getting very famous in education mostly, but for everything. Claude is a great app for everything. And like 2 years ago, not many people knew about it. I was talking to a friend who was like, you know, Claude? I was like, yes, we love it. He's a coder, he's a programmer. I was like, we do a lot of programming with Claude. 1 month ago, he came to me, you know, Claude replaced us. We are closing. Truly, true story. And there is no company anymore for programming because they are using Claude. I mean, why do you have to pay somebody to use Claude if you can use Claude? So please make sure you practice your skills, okay? And use technology in an efficient way. So this was the presentation, the last webinar about phubbing at school and efficient use of technology. I hope it was interesting. You could learn something new you may use in the future. And yeah, this was it. Come back to the plenum in presence so we can have the last presentation of the group. We were waiting for the 3D printer to print the last part. Come to the group so we can do that. Okay, yes.